Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM19 story, part of The Furniture with me, Daniel. It's Season 1, Episode 8, and today we polish off our first season with Torquay United, an extremely successful one with a promotion party away to St Albans City. As well as finishing the season, we're also going to have a review of things on the pitch this year, an extremely successful season for the club, and we're also going to look ahead to next year, what our plans are for the National League, and what ways we can find to balance the books, because as you can see, things are starting to look pretty horrific. But first, since the last episode, we of course did wrap up the title, there's no surprise there. We still haven't lost another game since, which is absolutely brilliant. We've passed the 100-point mark, which is absolutely astonishing to be brutally honest. We're averaging nearly 2.5 points a game, which you just can't beat, no matter what side you are and how big your resources are. If we also look at the team stats, we've scored the most goals in the league and conceded the least, which normally bodes well. And rather astonishingly, and possibly even unrealistic, we've only got 14 yellow cards in 41 games, the lowest in the league, and I don't know how that compares, but I will go and have a look later on. But I don't know if that's physically possible in modern football, even with the slightly more lenient referees in non-league football. If we go and look at the competition itself, we've got more awards there. We have had our strikers drop out of the top three, largely due to Kennedy's injury and the fact that Foy wasn't here all season, but they're both still in the top three average ratings for the league this season, and Liam Davis, our experienced left winger, proving what a good player he is with 14 assists, joint top of the chart with a game to go. We've also got Alex Bass with 18 clean sheets to his name, and the only reason he's not top in all truth is because Billy O'Brien's played the last 4 games and will play today just to ensure that his contract renews for next season. But amongst all the positivity, there's the one worry, which is always so often the case for lower league and non-league clubs, and it's finances, with 330,000 in the red now, largely because we didn't get through to that second round FA Cup tie, which probably would have changed everything. So next year, if we can keep ourselves safe, we may have to sacrifice a top half or playoff push, if we're in that position, just to get an FA Cup run, because it's going to be so essential for us in terms of finances. Unless our average attendance hugely improves going back up another league, but then I guess our wage bill's likely to go up. We've been given an increased budget of around 9,000 extra for next season, so they must be expecting more outgoings in that case, and I don't know how we're going to manage it financially. It's important we don't cause trouble to this club because we've got to be here long term, and we want them to be sustainable. I'm also not sure in FM19, because we haven't had a summer yet like this, how realistic it is in terms of lower league clubs coming in for our players, particularly those in sort of League 1, League 2, and even the top of the National League looking for goal scorers. Whether they'll come in for one of our strikers or creative players, we just don't know yet, so we'll see what happens with that over the summer. Hopefully our sponsorships and other things in relation to off the pitch matters will go up as well. This one carries on for another 3 years, but if we can add a couple of little sponsorship deals alongside, as well as our affiliation with Sunderland, hopefully we can bring in a bit of extra money to the club to cover the wage rise, and we'll try not to spend all of it if possible. But I think most of the players that were here already had an agreed wage rise of 20 to 25%, so that could be a little bit difficult. But before we talk about next season and our review of this year and the players, we need to get this game out of the way. It's a promotion party away at St Albans, so let's get into the game and see if we can carry on our new unbeaten run. We're 9 unbeaten in the league, so hopefully we can make that 10 to finish off the season. It's something I've always struggled with in the past when rotating the team, is losing a few players' morale as we lose a few games towards the end of the season. So I've tried to balance it a bit more this year in terms of giving young players a chance, but whilst not sacrificing youth development. One of the young players we were given a chance to was Ryan O'Sullivan, the young left-back. Unfortunately, he's got injured, so he's not got the chance anymore. But we're still giving a few of them a go. We've got Billy O'Brien in goal, as we've mentioned. He's made 4 appearances for us now. It's very simple, really. He wouldn't agree a new deal on an increased wage. And as a result, we need to play him in these 5 league games to make sure that he gets his new deal when we're promoted. So we're making sure that's the case by playing him today. And even if he comes off injured after a minute, he's still done his bit. Although I hope he doesn't, because we're not putting a sub-keeper on the bench. As well as that, we've got Dixon and Winter at the full-back areas. Winter, again, one of those getting some game time. Sendles, White and Sokolik stay in the middle. Ballin and Davis on the wings, because we don't have too many alternatives. Bar Banton, who I want to go in the summer. Brad Walker and Barley Mumba are in the middle. The 2 young midfielders, Butterfield and Stewart, have both thrown wobblies, and as a result they're likely to be out of the club too. And we're just giving Payne a rest for the last couple of games, as he missed 1 or 2 through injury. We then got Foy and Kennedy up front as usual. Keating had been playing most of the games, but I just want to give Foy a chance for the last couple, especially now his loan's been extended to the end of next season. Most of the other names you recognise from the first team in recent weeks and recent episodes are all on the bench, the likes of Keating, Payne and White amongst them. So let's get into the game. It's not the most important in terms of a result today, but it is important for us to keep momentum going into the new season. So hopefully we'll be able to do that, and everyone loves a long unbeaten run. St Albans playing very defensive, which might help us. The 5-man midfield with a holding midfielder. We never say no to playing against one of those. We're going to tell them to pick up where they left off because they've been excellent in the last few games. We didn't need to worry about looking at the results because it's been so easy, and we'll do that at the end of our season review just to see how we've gone in the last few games. But this one is essentially a dead rubber, but it's all about the season review, and as we go on through the game we'll talk about our plans for next year and what we're looking to do. We've got a few players who are out of contract, some of the older ones, particularly Dixon and Davis on the left wing, which is an area we're really looking at. You can see that's why we brought in O'Sullivan, which was an important one for us. We'd already agreed the signing of Kelly next season from Hamilton. We'd already talked about that one in the last episode, the pre-agreement. What a goal that is by Mumba. He's played for a few games for us. Another one next season. We're really hoping we can get on loan again. We're hoping Sunderland will agree to it once we've got this promotion in the bag and it officially goes through in the game, so we're a National League club. But the left-hand side is a bit of a concern for us. I don't really like Banton's attitude and I don't like having a right footer on there. I like to just get crosses into the box to the two good strikers. We've also got a bit of a concern at right back. Wassey's obviously had a couple of long-term injuries and isn't going to make it. Winter's not a natural right back, he's a centre-half really. As Foy scores again from a fantastic cross from Dixon. What a goal that is, and let's be honest, we haven't got to worry about this game. We know we're going to win that, so we'll just talk about the season and commentate on the goals. As we were saying, the other two right backs we've got at the club are both on loan. White is out of contract at the end of this season, as is Sam Long, so one or both of those two could be our options for next year. But as we say, we're going into this with a bang, with a brilliant performance against St Albans, and hopefully it means we don't need to change quite as much as we think. There's also Brad Walker, who's going out of contract at Crewe at the end of the season, so he'd be a really good one for us to be able to bring in. As Mumba shoots from the edge again, but it's blocked. Balling gets the ball out to Winter, but his cross is overhit, and it goes out for a goal kick as Kennedy couldn't attack it. The only ones we've got going out of contract are Dixon and Davis, and also Bobson Balling on the right, who won't agree a new deal and wants a bit too much money now. But other than that, we've got most of the key assets tied down, and I think we're going to be in a fairly similar shape next season, with maybe just 5 or 6 squad players coming in and a couple of first teamers to fill out the squad, to replace the sort of loan signings we've been relying on this season. The main one for us, of course, is Alex Bass, the goalkeeper. As much as O'Brien was brought in with a view to him going back, we know that Bass is so much better than any of the keepers at the club, and almost any keeper you could find at that level. So he's one that we really want to get on board, and we'll be trying to get him on loan every single day until the window closes. I'm not sure if he's out of contract as well. If he is, we'll definitely offer him a deal, but I'm not sure we'll be able to afford him, and I'm sure there'll be clubs higher up the pyramid competing for him. Winter's thrown it into Foy, and it'll be cleared away by St Albans via the keeper. We'll have a look at the game action for a few minutes, as we haven't done that yet. Kennedy flicks it onto Foy. He's fouled. It's a penalty. Dixon's down to take it. Let's see if we've got anyone else there who's better. The best penalty taker at the club is Kennedy. He's not been quite as good in the second half of the season, so we'll let him take one and hopefully he'll get some confidence back, and that'll be a great way to lead into next season. He's put it in the top corner. It's a fantastic pen, and we're now 3-0 up. His 31st goal of the season in all competitions. So let's be fair to him, it's not been an atrocious second half to the season, just not quite as up to his standards from the first half. Dixon with a throw to Davis, who's challenged. Walker gets the ball into the box, but it's poor and cleared away. And we've just got so many options in different areas of the pitch, particularly down the middle. It's the wide areas we're really a bit short. So I think most of our signings will just be a little bit of flair and quality out wide, and maybe even some youth. But in the middle of midfield, we just need to tie down 1 or 2 of our loan signings. Again, if we can confirm the loan sign, the Bass in goal, we've sort of done our job there without having to replace any of the players. But an hour gone in this one, it is 3-0. We know we're going to win it, so it's a fantastic way to end the season. And what a way to celebrate promotion with the away fans. The ball's headed away. St Albans can bring it forward now. We don't want to let in a goal. It'd be nice to keep a clean sheet, especially for O'Brien. A bit of confidence for him. But Mullins in on the left and crosses, and there is the goal. Just as I say it, O'Brien lets one in. You could argue he might have done better with that, but from close range, you'd never expect the keeper to save those. Dixon has a free kick on the right hand side. It's blocked, but it's come back to him again. He finds Walker on the edge of the box. Walker's going to try and get it wide, but he's forced backwards to Sokolic in the end, and we bring it forward, but the highlight ends. There's a lot of highlights in this game. It seems to be a fairly high action one. Winter hoofs it down the line, and it finds Foy into Kennedy. He's offside, so it won't count, and it remains 3-1, and we'll think about some changes in a minute just to give some lads a run out from the bench, particularly the likes of Keating, who's been so loyal to us this season, and signed a contract as well. Liam Davis, the short left wing, has won a header. What an end to the season this is. 4-1, the two experienced left wingers have combined. I would like to keep them at the club for another year, but I can't guarantee them first team football, and they both want it. So I would be happy to let them go and live their dream and play first team football for a couple more years. They very much deserve it. As Foy scores again, the keeper palms it in basically. It's 5-1, and it's just starting to show what a golfing class there is between us and some of the teams in this league. The younger players are still developing, the experienced ones are good heads, and they're helping out the younger players. And it's just been the perfect season in every sense of the word. Let's make a few changes. We don't want to take Foy off when he's on a hat-trick, so Kennedy can come off for Keating in the pressing forward role, and Foy will get a chance to run in behind for the end of the game. Walker's a bit tired as well, so we'll bring on Payne. He's been a good player for us and will be key next season, Jack Payne, and he'll probably be playing alongside whichever one of the two loanees we can keep. The other player struggling for fitness is Sendles White. Dixon is as well, but we haven't got a backup. So we're going to put Winter in at centre-half alongside Sokolic and bring on Darren White at right-back. Hopefully we can persuade him to stay in the summer because he's a National League player. Dixon with the corner on the left-hand side, an outswinger. Is headed away by the centre-half, but it's straight to White, the substitute. White's going to try and get it down the line, but he's forced inside to Mumba. Back to Payne, one of the other subs. Foy on the edge is challenged and it's cleared away. And it'll be a throw-in for us on halfway as the highlight ends. With 10 minutes to go, we've got nothing but praise for the lads. It'd be so easy just to slack off a bit in this game and just take it easy towards the end of the season. But they've been absolutely on fire, and 5-1 doesn't flatter us in this game. All the action's been in their St Albans half, and we've only had the one shot against us which they've scored from. Sambu's got the ball for them as they come forward again. Winter heads away to Davis, and I think that's probably been the best part of this season, is no matter which players we've had in, whether we've had our first choice players, who largely are a class above most of this league, or some of the rotational and backup options, which are probably just good standard players in this division, they've all fitted in brilliantly and nothing's really changed in terms of performance. We did struggle briefly to score goals when Kennedy was out the side with his longish term injury. But aside from that, even then we were playing well. We were still defending well, and we still looked a good unit. And no matter which players we've chopped and changed, that's always been the case this year. And it's something you don't always get the luxury of having on this game. So the dressing room atmosphere has been brilliant. The experienced players, such as the captain Dixon, we've mentioned Davis before already. Sokolic falls into that category now. And Payne since he's come in. They've all been such brilliant professionals. And it's a far cry from what we had in our other head coach story. Especially at Hemel Hempstead, where all those experienced players were creating a poisonous atmosphere. It's been the complete opposite here, and we have to praise the lads for helping out a young unproven manager. It's St Albans bringing the ball forward down the right now. They've had a bit of the running in the last 10 minutes or so as we've just eased off a little. And we've got some tired legs out there as well. We've come off an Easter weekend before this game. St Albans hit the post from the right. Mullen's got the ball on the left-hand side but goes a long way back. And now they're just bringing it forward through midfield again. But it looks like we're going to see it out comfortably. And going into stoppage time, we cannot complain about being 5-1 up, as all of our attacking players have been in brilliant form. Mullen's offside, and that's the end of that highlight, and we've just got to see out the 2 minutes. It's a St Albans goal kick again. We're into the last 45 seconds now. It's just seeing out time. Sokolic at the back. If we could get one more goal, it would be absolutely brilliant, but we're getting a bit greedy and ahead of ourselves now. A Foy hat-trick would be nice for him personally, but it doesn't worry us too much. Mumba gives the ball away, a man who's come into brilliant form in the last 2 or 3 games, and a player we have to try and keep in the National League. He'd probably even be a top player at that level, and probably even in League 2 as well, to be fair to him. I'm not quite sure why Sunderland don't want to play him. It's St Albans bringing it through the middle with just the last few seconds to go. White's defended well at right back since he's come on and has just convinced me further I want to keep him. But a 5-1 win in a game that didn't really matter, but it's the last day of the season. We've celebrated in style, we're getting to go through our promotion party. And we've had a chance to have a chat about next season, which is good. We're just going to go and do the end of season review, look at our starts from the season. We'll also have a look at the contract situation with players. We'll look at things off the pitch a little bit more. And then we'll end the season and get ready for a big summer going into the National League. Back where Torquay belong at the very least. We'll see what they've said about the game quickly. East Thurrock remarkably have got in the playoffs. That's a hell of an achievement for them and does mean that Dartford will have missed out. An absolute demolition job from us today. Brilliant work, and Ryan Dixon, 3 assists. He's been training well, and I've got almost no choice but to offer him a contract now. It's just whether we can agree something financially. So we're going to praise his performance. His passing was brilliant. Hopefully he'll be happy enough with that. He is. You can't say his passing's bad when he's got 3 key passes and 3 assists. Let's go and look at the squad for the season. There's obviously a few that aren't here, but we want to talk mainly about the contract situation and how they've performed over the year. So in terms of contracts, we've got Billy O'Brien out of contract this year, as we've mentioned, but his will renew in the next hour or so, having played that game. We've got the left-hand side issue with Davis, Dixon and Banton. I'd like to keep the 2 experienced ones at the club, but only if they'll stay as a backup player, because I don't want to sell any false promises. Asa Hall's decided to retire. We were probably going to let him go anyway, as we can't afford to have someone who won't play on £800 a week. We've mentioned Wassey a couple of episodes again. We just can't keep players on with our budget when they've got injuries for another half a year or so. Jamie Reed's been unprofessional, one of the few at the club who has been, so he'll go out as well. We'll try and get a deal with Bobson Balling, but it's all about money for that one. We'll try and renew a couple of the loans too, just to make sure we keep ourselves ticking over next year. I'd like to get one of the right backs and one of the central midfielders on board at the very least. I'm not too worried about which, although it'd be nice if it was Mumba and White, as they're significantly better, despite the fact that Walker's been brilliant for us, so don't be surprised if they're both here in the next episode. Alex Bass in goal is obviously a key man to try and get in again, but all of the rest we're not too worried about. Naby and Cameron's potential isn't quite as high now some of the other guys have come in, as we've seen that they've not quite got as big a ceiling as those guys, so they probably would be National League players at best. We won't be worried if they want to stay as backup players, but other than that, if they want increased salaries, we're not going to do that. Everyone else is tied down to the end of next season, with the exception of Mikal Kennedy, who's got a 3-year deal. So if someone wants to come in for him in the summer, he should be worth a little bit of money. He's only worth 26,000 on there, but hopefully that'll go up as we move up to the National League. And he might be someone we have to sacrifice financially, especially considering we got him on a free just 4 months ago. So let's go and look at their performances this season. I'm all over the place selecting the menus. Selection info is what we want. We'll get them in appearance order. Jakub Sokolik, the hero, 43 games, closely followed by Bass on 42. In terms of appearances, Bobson Balling has been the star man with 48 in all competitions, although 8 of those were off the bench. It just shows that we haven't really had many options on the right. We did have Ryan Donaldson at one stage, but he got a long knock just after coming in. So Balling's been the man we've relied on for a lot of the season, and he hasn't let us down, to be fair. And my overriding emotion is that I'll probably try and keep him for next year, even if he does want a slight wage increase. You can see so many of those experienced players are the ones running out of contract this year. Dixon and Davis have played so many games for us. St Albans White's been brilliant as well and deserves a mention. And all of the strikers have been excellent for us. In a team that have been creating lots of chances, it's probably been quite an easy job, to be fair. If we put them in order of goals, there's a bit of a false read in here. We need to go to Kennedy properly to see what he's done. He's got 31 in all competitions, so he is our top goal scorer. It's just that they're only reading since he came back for his January spell onwards as a permanent signing at the club. But he'll be a key man next year in ensuring we stay up comfortably. As will Matt Foyle, we've got on loan for another year alongside him. He got 29 just behind. And Keating, despite playing a lot of games off the bench, got 23 as well. So the 3 of them between them are absolutely brilliant and will be fantastic for us next season. It's probably the one area of the pitch where I'm not worried about strengthening at all, even on the bench. It might just be a youngster as 4th choice if need be. The centre-half, St Albans White and Sokolik, have both been good as well, and have both been fairly threatening from set pieces. St Albans White with 6 goals and Sokolik with 3. Again, 2 players I'd be happy to start in the next division. It's just about substitutes for them. And a lot of the midfielders have done very well and contributed a few goals as well, especially Brad Walker, who's got 8 goals and 4 assists to his name. If we go in order of assists, this is where the wide men start to show off. Jason Banton I may have underrated slightly because he's got an assist almost every other game. He is a decent player, he just really frustrates me with his attitude on the pitch. He doesn't work hard and track back, and he's a more naturally attacking player which doesn't really fit into our formation. If he'll stay for cheap enough, we might just keep him on as a backup option. But again, if he wants a wage rise, it's not the sort of luxury we can afford to have. We'll probably have to have a slightly smaller squad next year to cope with the demands financially. And then perhaps fill out the squad with slightly younger players on lower contracts who just want to prove themselves and develop off the pitch. We've also got Liam Davis on 15 assists in the end, Bobson Balling with 11 and Dixon in double figures too. Foy and Keating created a lot of chances up front. They probably provided the assist for a large amount of Kennedy's goals. So well done to them. Almost everyone in the squad's got an assist over the course of the season, and there's only 3 players in the whole team that haven't contributed an assist or goal. One of those is Asa Hall, who's only made one sub appearance all season, largely due to injury, and the other two are our goalkeepers. So every outfield player that's played more than one game has made a contribution in terms of an assist or goal. You can't ask for more than that at a club. And lastly, in terms of average rating, again Kennedy is right up there. He's got 7.25 just since he's been back, but overall it's 7.32, so he deserves that little boost again. Up there with the other striker, Matt Foy, and Ruari Keaton's above a 7 as well, with a few of those attacking midfield players in between. You can see Mumba and Walker are two that have been absolutely excellent, and we'd love to keep them at the club if possible. And lastly, as promised, we'll just go and have a quick look at the last few games of the season. Obviously, we've not worried about results too much because we'd already wrapped up the league. We've only drawn one game and won the rest. It's been goals galore and great attacking football. We beat Concord 2-0 with Foy and Keaton scoring the goals. A ball draw at home to Wealdstone before a big 5-3 game against Woking, the only team that have a higher average attendance than us. Jake Hyde, a hero from FM19 at Dover, in the head coach. He got a couple of goals for them in that one, but Kennedy got a hat-trick, Keaton and Balling scored, and it was one of the most enjoyable games at the club so far, until we played St Albans just a few minutes ago. We beat Eastbourne at home 3-1, Keaton, O'Sullivan and Foy got the goals in that one. A 1-0 win against Chippenham with Ruari Keaton again, having a bit of a goal glut towards the end of the season as he got given a chance in the team. And then against Hungerford we had a few goals in a 4-2 win. Brad Walker with a brace in that one. He was absolutely excellent, to be fair to him. But what a fantastic end to a season, and what a season in total. It's been absolutely brilliant. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, please put a thumbs up on it. Let me know down in the comments where you think our weaknesses are, which positions I should be looking to improve, and whether you agree with me in terms of keeping the loan signings that are on board and a couple of experienced stars at the club. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager content from this part of the Furniture series, as well as my other FM19 story, The Head Coach. A massive thanks for watching as always, and we'll see you next time.